Let's simplify 4 of the best Town Hall 13 attack strategies you can use regardless of hero levels, whether you have rushed heroes or even max heroes. What's good, my friends? My name's Corrupt. Let's start with a bit more of a rush Town Hall 13 with the use of Blizzard Lalo. As a reminder, none of these attacks are going to have super rushed heroes or no heroes. It's very difficult for me to even cover those topics. But in terms of low-level heroes, they make up a very small percentage of your attack. All of these attacks that you'll see can be used with lower-level heroes, but it depends all on the base that you're hitting. This is a great army that you can use on practically any base, even if you're a little bit more rushed like this attacker. So the fundamentals are very important. You always want to start off with the use of the Blizzard to lure out the enemy CC, kill off the enemy Queen, and possibly kill off the enemy Royal Champion if they're close. So in this case, he lured out the enemy CC, Queen has been dealt with, getting some good value like the scatter shots, and also getting rid of some other defenses and getting rid of the enemy Royal Champion. That way, he's also able to remove the enemy CC, get a little bit more damage on some other defenses, and it just makes it so much easier. Of course, if the Royal Champion is a little bit more separated, you could just use Headhunters to take care of her, or you can use your heroes to take care of her depending on where she's placed. So that then leads you into that Sui Hero. Regardless of the level of your heroes, you will be able to do this just fine. Since on this base here, there's a lot of buildings that he can reach from the outside, you really don't need to break your queen in or any of that sort. That allows you to create a funnel. So then you could start that Lavaloon portion. How you want to think about it is you want to look at air defense placement. This first air defense is going to be your point A. Then going into here is your point B, and the attacker in this case is finishing off against the Town Hall. That is the point C. And since there are defenses on the outside of the base, like the cannons and archer towers here, you want to use those as anchor points to funnel your balloons to go in the base and maybe form one big group. You could even have the Royal Champion move with your heroes, since at the lower levels, it's just way better to send her in with your heroes instead of sending them in away from your heroes and all that. You want to expand upon that Sui Hero with the Royal Champion. So as you're working with the Lavaloon, you want to make sure that you've got your first group going in, maybe your second group going into this area. That way you're able to then control where they're going. And you're also making sure that they're able to go together as they move towards the Town Hall. Using the haste spells to get to things like the air defenses, maybe Tesla farms, wizard towers, etc. Now, in this case, he has a level 23 Grand Warden, so it's not a really strong ability. So in terms of this, you should be using a freeze and a haste. You want to use this Grand Warden ability right when you get to the Town Hall and after it goes down. Now, of course, the base was not maxed out, but there's a lot of different things that you really want to think about. Another thing is make sure that you have the minions and also maybe even headhunters or wizards to help clean up the base so you're able to get the 3-star with no problem, even if you have lower level heroes. Next, let's look at a new Town Hall 13 player using the Queen Charge Mass Hog. The idea is to use the Queen Charge to create the funnel, lure out the enemy CC, and also clear through splash buildings. A great example of this is right here. This part of the base gives you 2 scatter shots, the Town Hall, 2 wizard towers, and 2 bomb towers. That's a lot of really good value for the Hog Riders. So using the Queen Charge, creating the funnel with a Baby Dragon and Barbarian King is usually the smartest play, so you're able to break in with either the use of super wall breakers or you can bring in the use of regular wall breakers. This you should be using a free spell for though. So that way you are able to open up the wall against a scatter shot or a multi-target inferno. So as you're able to break in, you could use a rage spell for that or with it. So you're able to get your queen to go in as she may be taking a lot of big damage. So you do need to be very careful about that, especially if you're entering in for the Town Hall. You could use a freeze spell to protect your queen from the single target inferno, and you want to be able to make sure that you are getting that Town Hall down and possibly the scatter shot if you don't have any, or the single inferno if you don't have any more free spells. Using the queen ability is is a great choice. Now, the Battle Blimp is being used here. You don't really need the Siege Barrack if you're using Hog Riders. You can use the Battle Blimp to sort of clear out a area of the base, making it so much easier and more predictable for you to deploy your spells at. So that way, what you're able to do is, while your queen is clearing through a good amount of the area, you can go ahead and start sending in your Hog Riders, spamming them all in towards something like the enemy archer queen, as a good example. Now, the difference here is that even though you are sending your Hog Riders in for the enemy queen, you've got the Headhunters and the Royal Champion. You're going to use that Grand Warren ability to protect them. That way your Headhunters stay alive, they're guaranteed to get rid of her, and you've got to protect your Royal Champion and Hog Riders, so you don't really need to use a heal spell that early. So that way you're able to use the heal spells in the core and towards the back end. You could even use a poison spell to slow down enemy heroes. You can use a rage spell to boost up your Hog Riders, and another heal on the back end, especially as you go a little bit further in the base. It's really nice to have that. And maybe even using that RC's Seeking Shield is another good thing, because you can get through a bunch of other defenses, making it so much easier for you in terms of cleanup. But the biggest thing is just making sure that you're able to work all the way through. Even though going in for the enemy queen and CC is kind of a weird thing to do, you can still get the triple as long as you are able to get a good amount of value and create the funnel. As you slowly but surely max out your heroes, there is another army that you can use regardless of your hero levels. This is a Go-Bow Hog Rider style army, but using Ice Golems and the Wall Wrecker. This is a great base design for it, mostly because you're able to get rid of the enemy queen, Town Hall, 2 bomb towers, and of course 2 scatter shots as well. This gives you enough value as this sort of Killsquad type of attack in order to clear through certain buildings, and you're able to create a wedge in the base to make it so much easier for the rest of your attack. That's how you want to think about it. You could bring the Grand Warden with the use of your heroes, especially if you bring a jump spell and you're planning to go deeper in. Now, the idea is you want to make sure that you have some tankage going in as you're creating the funnel, like using the Ice Golems, and using that Wall Wrecker to tank for your bowlers especially. That way you're able to start moving your heroes in. Typically, you don't see this very often at Town Hall 13, and rarely do you ever see the Grand Warden going in with your heroes in a Sui Hero, but the biggest thing is being able to provide a lot of support for them as they start to go in for the Town Hall. Using the Grand Warden ability early usually only happens if you have a higher level Grand Warden, and you should be using that to protect your heroes from the Town Hall. After this point, you've got a good lane to start your Hog Riders. Remember that you're going to use the heal spells. All 3 of your heal spells are going to be used on them. And in this case, he places all of his hogs in one area and using the Grand Warden to pretty much give him just a little bit more health. Now, the biggest thing to avoid is don't have something like this, where the Royal Champion is just able to easily pick off your Hog Riders. You do not want that to happen. So you do want to try and get that Royal Champion or bring Headhunters to get rid of her. You don't want her to lock onto your Grand Warden and force the ability or just let him die. So you've got to really think about all those different things. Using the heal spells to effectively keep the Hog Riders alive and keep them alive towards the back end of the base allows you to swiftly move through and still get the 3-star. Those are just a couple things. Overall, it's still a very strong option, and as long as you have cleanup from wizards, you're all good. You should be using those so you prevent the time fail. And in this case, he's got the Royal Champ is still alive. The P.E.K.K.A. is going to pretty much go into a fight with the baby Royal Champion. But overall, it's still a really strong option. Now, as you can see, here we go. We have the P.E.K.K.A. and the Royal Champion. Royal Champion's only going to get only a couple of shots before the P.E.K.K.A. just 3 shots her. But overall, it's still a really strong army. And even though the Max Queen makes a huge difference against this non-max base, still being able to attack with some lower level heroes-ish, that allows you to pretty much easily smash Town Hall 13s with this attack. slowly you will earn max heroes, or at least max-ish heroes here at Town Hall 13. So using the sort of bat slap at Town Hall 13 is a really good choice depending on the base, of course, but it can work very well still regardless of your hero levels. So that is a big thing. In this case, the idea is to use this attack pretty much to easily move through. Similar to a regular witch attack, but you're not bringing lightning spells. You're going to use an earthquake in the core to open up this large area for everything, but you've got the witches to work themselves down. Reason, you've got the eagle artillery, scatter shots, and wizard towers that you're able to easily open in. So you want to make sure that you are able to get rid of as much of this value as possible. So being able to use the witches, letting them kind of roam around, having the golems move into the core, maybe even some on the outside, that allows you to use the 4 earthquake spells to open up the core of the base. This allows you to possibly get rid of the eagle or the town hall from a distance with the use of the log launcher. Fortunately, it didn't happen here, but having the witches move in, having the heroes in there as well, allows you to get through all of that splash buildings. Now at this point, you can start in your bat spells. The best idea to look at this is mainly look at an area where you're able to sort of go in for a more dangerous splash area, or an area where you're not really dealing with too much splash. Now, the best part about this attack as well is you've got the Royal Champion, and you could use that Royal Champ to get through stuff like the Multi-Infernos or the Wizard Towers, etc. You can use that to your advantage. You can then go ahead and use your bat spells at any real given point. As an example here, getting rid of a Wizard Tower and single Inferno. Just make sure to drop free spells in so you don't lose bats too quickly, because that could really add up, especially if your heroes start to die off. But the whole thing here, it's pretty much wrecked. The witches did a lot of work, even though most of them did die. You've got the bat spells to kind of help with the heroes, even though there's not that many left. This is kind of where you got to really use those free spells a little bit better, as in this case, unfortunately, the attacker lost all of the bats. Because they didn't overwhelm the defenses, they all died. So you do want to consider about all of those things. Even this attacker could have failed on this base, even though it looked smashed. So you really got to pay very close attention, only leaving the barbarians and the headhunters up. This could have still been a fail, so you really got to be very, very careful about it. But overall, the idea is you still want to be able to work your way through. And it seems like in this case, we have an army of barbarians that will finish off the rest of the base. And that really still kind of shows that, of course, hero levels do kind of matter in a way, but being able to 3-star with different armies that I've showed throughout here, and being able to learn exactly the fundamentals of how to use them, is exactly what's going to help you get more 3-stars regardless of your hero levels. What do you guys think about these lower level hero attack strategy videos? Let me know if you want to see more of these type of videos in terms of progression of heroes, and I'll try to bring that to you guys. Also, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell, as we do have a Town Hall 12 version of this video coming up in just a few days. And also make sure to use code CORRUPT before purchasing the gold pass or any special offers, and I'll catch you in the next video. Corrupt, signing out.